there was this psychic woman, and so we became friends. She never did anything psychic,
Yeah.
but we became friends. And so she had actually she had given me the unsolicited just unsolicited advice about my stomach. She basically told me that my stomach was healed at some point. Maybe that was one of this, like, because I was concerned about like ramping up my exercise at the time. So I was meeting with her once, and so this is something kind of funny. She said she worked with Christ energy. I wasn't really into the whole psychic thing.
Yeah.
She did some sort of healing. Um, and but she had mentioned once that, like, I told her we'd met, and I told her a little bit about what I did, and she said she could see my qigong practice in my aura. Now I don't know what that means. I'm not psychic, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, that she had mentioned that. And
I've had similar experiences with new age psychic type people where they say they could see it, you
right, right,
know?
right. That's what she said. She could see it. Like it was very matter of factly the way she
Yeah.
had mentioned it. But I was deciding whether to go to Japan or China, because I was done with music, sort of done with the job. I'm like, I'm either going to China or Japan. I'd visited China, and I was thinking like going to China, and that's the only time she actually said during our relationship. She's like, okay, now I'm going to do something psychic. And she's sort of going like she looks like she's doing something like that. And she goes, oh, you got to go to Japan. You got to go to Japan. Like
Well,
China, she said something like China's going to eat you alive. It's disorganized. The people take advantage of you. Japan's very organized. Um, looks like, oh, and then she goes, and you're going to get married in Japan. And I was like, what? And
wow.
she's like, you will find your wife in Japan. And I didn't think about it. I was like, that's wild. I was thinking at the time period. I didn't think much about that. And then I got over there, and sure enough, I met a girl, etc. The rest was history, which leads me to how I ended up coming back to America. But one thing that was great about Japan, John, was that I became an English teacher. As an English teacher, you work from basically from like either 1:30 to 9:10, or from like 4:20 to 9:10, 5 days a week.
Mhm.
So I would get up at 7:30 a.m. and I would have 6 hours before work. So there was a time period where I was meditating for 3 straight hours,
Mm.
like before. I mean, it's like this blessing of time. Um,
Yeah.
and I would do all of my qigong exercise, and I did like a straight 30-minute meditation. I started reading Self-Realization Fellowship
Hmm.
by Paramahansa Yogananda, and I started really getting into just like his methodology.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in Kriya Yoga. And I there was one meditation he had, and he said like it's purely a meditation to know God. And the meditation was very simple. It was like you would actually just focus on the third eye, and you would pray, essentially. So I was doing this twice a day. In addition to, I would do that. I'd wake up in the morning, 7:30 to 8. I do straight meditation. But the interesting thing was there was actually I was talking with monks that could give you advice on the meditation. And the interesting thing about it was that during that meditation, the pulse was going crazy. Like, because you're supposed to meditate on the third eye. And I'm thinking, can I even do this? Because as I'm meditating on the third eye and praying, the pulse is like, felt like it was like someone's hitting a hammer into my lower abdomen. I'm
Wow.
thinking like, should I just circle it as I go? Because I'm about to do that anyway. And as soon as I finish this, and I was talking with the monks, and John, they were they didn't know what to say. They were like somewhere between amazed, almost in awe. I was like, listen, I got this really. I didn't get into the whole thing about my qigong practice with them, But
They were
but
surprised that you knew as much as you knew, though,
they were
I
shocked.
imagine.
They
Yeah,
were shocked. They
yeah,
didn't know, they didn't really know how to counsel me. But the interesting thing that happened though was like that, all of that meditation really changed my personality. I felt so happy. I was bliss filled. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. Nothing bothered me at all. And I felt like really close to God. I was reading the Bible. I was reading, Paramahansa Yogananda. I was locked into my meditations, and I lived in like a 6 foot, I mean, the small, like a really small six tatami mat room, like a one room, and I
yeah. A cell.
so yeah, basically. But I
Yeah,
was so happy, and I was doing my exercise, and eventually, I honestly, John, for about there was about a 3 month period where I was considering becoming a monk, just like kind of moving into the monastery with these
wow.
guys. And I was like, I was
How old are
really
you? How old are you at this point?
at this point I was 29.
Wow.
So I left Atlanta and I was like, and and then you know what happened? Of course you do. I met a girl. And
Yeah.
so I started hanging out with the girl. And listen, one of the most dangerous things to your practice, I don't know how you feel about this, but meeting a women, if you meet a woman, it can be great. It can be wonderful. It can really lift up your life. But when you're deep into that sort of meditative practice, it's a side road as well. Women can be extremely demanding in so many different ways. Some of it's just nature, you know.
Agreed.
You know,
Totally
that's
agree with you.